Are your feet constantly tingling, swollen, or feeling like they've fallen asleep, no matter what you do? And even more confusing, you're eating clean, loading up on healthy foods, and doing everything right, or so you thought. What if some of those healthy foods were actually making things worse? I'm talking about everyday vegetables, yes, the ones we've been told to eat more of, that could be silently sabotaging your circulation and irritating your nerves. It sounds unbelievable, I know. But if you're living with poor blood flow, nerve pain, or conditions like diabetes, your body reacts differently. Certain foods that work for most people can trigger inflammation, restrict blood flow to your extremities, and leave your feet feeling numb or swollen. In this video, I'll reveal the 3 most surprising vegetables that could be hurting your feet, and how small changes to your diet could bring major relief. Let's get into it. Number 1, spinach. Spinach. It's often one of the first foods we reach for when we're trying to eat healthier. Packed with vitamins, minerals, and fiber, it seems like a no-brainer for anyone looking to boost their nutrition. But what if I told you that this leafy green superfood could actually be making your foot numbness worse? It might sound surprising, even shocking, but for certain individuals, especially those with circulation problems or peripheral neuropathy, spinach may do more harm than good when eaten in large quantities. Let's break this down. Spinach is incredibly nutrient-dense. It's rich in iron, calcium, magnesium, vitamin K, folate, and dietary fiber, nutrients that support everything from bone strength to red blood cell production. It's no wonder it's hailed as a health food hero. But spinach also contains a compound that doesn't get nearly enough attention, oxalic acid, also known as oxalates. These are naturally occurring substances found in many plant foods, and while they're harmless to most people in moderate amounts, they can become problematic under certain conditions. Oxalates have a unique way of interacting in the body. When consumed, they can bind to minerals like calcium, forming what's called calcium oxalate crystals. Now, why is that a problem? These tiny crystals can accumulate in tissues or organs like the kidneys, and they can interfere with calcium availability where it's most needed, such as in your muscles and nerves. Calcium is essential for proper nerve function and muscle contraction. When your body doesn't have enough free calcium circulating, those nerves, especially the ones in your extremities like your feet, can begin to misfire. That misfiring can feel like numbness, tingling, burning, or even weakness. But that's not all. These calcium oxalate crystals don't just reduce calcium availability, they can also contribute to blockages in the body's tiniest blood vessels, particularly in your hands and feet. Think of your circulatory system like a network of highways, and these small vessels as narrow roads in the countryside. A traffic jam here, caused by a buildup of oxalate crystals, can prevent blood from reaching your feet efficiently. The result? Reduced oxygen and nutrient delivery to nerve endings, causing those uncomfortable sensations of tingling, numbness, and swelling. Now, let's talk about fluid retention. For some people, particularly those who are sensitive to oxalates, consuming high oxalate foods like spinach can trigger mild inflammatory responses. This inflammation can lead to swelling in the lower extremities. And when swelling occurs in the feet, it presses on nearby nerves, restricting their ability to transmit signals properly. That pressure alone can cause or worsen feelings of numbness, especially if you already have underlying circulation or nerve issues. Another important factor to consider is vitamin K, an often overlooked nutrient when it comes to circulation. Spinach is one of the richest natural sources of vitamin K, which plays a vital role in blood clotting. If you're taking blood-thinning medications like warfarin, this can become a serious concern. Too much vitamin K can counteract the effects of those medications, leading to unbalanced blood viscosity and poor blood flow. This disruption in circulation can further reduce the amount of oxygen reaching your extremities, compounding the numbness or coldness in your feet. So, who's most at risk of these side effects? If you have kidney disease or are prone to kidney stones, you should be especially cautious with spinach. Since the kidneys are responsible for filtering oxalates from the blood, any impairment in their function can lead to a buildup of these compounds. People with diabetes, poor peripheral circulation, or nerve damage, conditions commonly linked to foot numbness, are also at higher risk. And if you have a vitamin B12 deficiency, your nerves are already more vulnerable to damage, which can be made worse by dietary choices that limit proper blood and nutrient flow. But here's the good news: you don't have to eliminate spinach from your diet entirely. You just have to be smart about how you prepare it and how often you eat it. The most effective way to reduce the oxalate content in spinach is by cooking it. Boiling spinach can cut down the oxalate levels by up to 87%, making it far safer for people who are sensitive to oxalates. That's a massive difference compared to eating it raw in smoothies or salads, where oxalate levels remain high. Another smart approach? Moderation. Spinach shouldn't be something you eat every single day, especially if you're dealing with foot numbness or circulation issues. Rotating your leafy greens is one of the easiest ways to reduce the cumulative impact of oxalates. Try incorporating low oxalate greens like kale, arugula, collard greens, or romaine lettuce throughout your week. These options provide many of the same nutritional benefits without the heavy oxalate load. And here's another tip: pair spinach with calcium-rich foods. When calcium is present in the digestive tract at the same time as oxalates, the two are more likely to bind together in the stomach and intestines before they enter the bloodstream. This reduces the likelihood of those harmful calcium oxalate crystals forming in your body. So next time you eat spinach, try adding a little plain yogurt, some tahini, which is high in sesame seed calcium, or even a small piece of cheese. It's a simple hack that can make a meaningful difference. In summary, spinach isn't inherently bad, it's all about context. For the average person, it can be a great source of essential nutrients. But if you're experiencing numbness, tingling, or swelling in your feet, or if you've been diagnosed with circulation or nerve issues, you need to be especially mindful. Those oxalates and high vitamin K levels might be working against your efforts to feel better, even if you're eating clean. The key takeaway here is that healthy eating is not one size fits all. What benefits one person could harm another, depending on their health conditions. Understanding how your body reacts to specific compounds in food, like oxalates, is the first step toward reclaiming control over your health. You deserve to feel energized, comfortable, and pain-free in your own body. Sometimes that means digging deeper than the headlines and listening to the signals your body is sending. So the next time your feet feel off, take a closer look at what's on your plate. It might just be the answer you've been searching for. Number 2, broccoli. Broccoli has earned its place on the list of so-called superfoods, and for good reason. It's rich in essential nutrients like vitamin C, potassium, and fiber, and it's loaded with antioxidants that can fight inflammation and support immune health. For many people, it's a fantastic addition to a balanced diet. But here's where things get complicated. If you're dealing with nerve issues, poor circulation, or conditions like diabetes or hypothyroidism, too much broccoli, especially in its raw form, might actually be doing more harm than good. And that's a hard truth, especially when you're trying to eat clean and make smart choices for your health. Let's start with what's in broccoli. This cruciferous vegetable is packed with beneficial compounds: vitamin K, which plays a key role in blood clotting, vitamin C, essential for collagen and blood vessel health, dietary fiber for digestive function, and potassium, which supports heart rhythm and muscle contraction. It also contains sulfur-rich compounds known as glucosinolates, which are believed to have cancer-fighting properties. On paper, it's a nutritional powerhouse. But for certain people, especially those with circulation problems, blood clotting issues, or nerve sensitivity, the same compounds that make broccoli healthy can also create unwanted complications. One of the biggest concerns is vitamin K, which is found in high levels in broccoli. Now, vitamin K isn't inherently bad, it's actually vital for helping blood clot properly. But here's the catch: if you're on anticoagulant medication like warfarin, commonly prescribed for people at risk of blood clots or stroke, high amounts of vitamin K can interfere with how the medication works. In short, it can reduce the effectiveness of your blood thinner, which can lead to unbalanced blood viscosity. When your blood isn't flowing the way it should, especially to the tiny vessels in your feet and hands, you may start to experience numbness, tingling, or cold extremities. And if your goal is to improve your circulation, broccoli could be unknowingly working against you. But vitamin K isn't the only concern. Broccoli, like other members of the cruciferous vegetable family, contains goitrogens and indoles. These naturally occurring compounds can be problematic for people with thyroid disorders because they interfere with the body's ability to absorb iodine, an essential nutrient for proper thyroid function. An underactive thyroid, hypothyroidism, can lead to fluid retention, slow metabolism, and reduced circulation, all of which can worsen symptoms like foot swelling and nerve pressure. Add broccoli into that mix, especially if eaten in large or raw amounts, and you could be amplifying these problems without even realizing it. There's also the issue of digestibility. Raw broccoli is tough on the digestive system, especially for people with sensitive stomachs. Its high fiber content and sulfur compounds can lead to gas, bloating, and abdominal discomfort. You might wonder, how does that connect to numbness in your feet? Well, digestion and circulation are more interconnected than we think. When your gut is inflamed or bloated, it places stress on your body's lymphatic and circulatory systems, which are already working hard to push blood to your extremities. Any additional pressure or inflammation can disrupt this flow, making neuropathy symptoms, like tingling, heaviness, and cold feet, even more pronounced. So, let's talk about the specific symptoms that broccoli may be aggravating in vulnerable individuals. If you've been noticing poor blood circulation in your legs and feet, swollen ankles or toes, or occasional nerve tingling or numbness, it might be time to evaluate how much broccoli is showing up on your plate and how it's being prepared. These symptoms are signs that your body isn't getting oxygen and nutrients to where they're needed most. That's not something to ignore. Now, this doesn't mean you have to cut broccoli out of your life entirely. It's all about how and how much you eat it. The best way to reduce the risks while still enjoying the benefits is to cook broccoli lightly, either by steaming or sautéing. Cooking not only makes it easier to digest, but also helps reduce the impact of goitrogens and sulfur compounds. Steaming, in particular, preserves much of the broccoli's nutritional value while making it gentler on your digestive system and less likely to interfere with your thyroid. If you're already dealing with numbness, tingling, or poor circulation, consider limiting broccoli to just a few times per week rather than making it a daily staple. And be mindful of portion sizes. Eating large amounts, especially raw, can amplify the issues we've talked about. Variety is your best friend here. Rotate in other non-cruciferous vegetables like bell peppers, zucchini, carrots, or green beans. These veggies are typically lower in compounds that affect thyroid function or blood viscosity, yet they still provide excellent nutritional support. Also, if you're someone who suffers from bloating or gas, try tracking your symptoms when you eat raw broccoli. Your body could be giving you signals that it's struggling to break down those fibrous, sulfur-rich compounds. In some cases, reducing raw cruciferous veggies, or eliminating them altogether for a while, can bring surprisingly fast relief, especially in combination with other changes that improve circulation and nerve health. It's important to note that the people most at risk from excessive broccoli consumption include those who are taking blood thinners, dealing with thyroid imbalances, or struggling with fluid retention. If any of these apply to you, being intentional with your vegetable choices can make a world of difference. You're not giving up on healthy eating, you're simply choosing foods that work with your body, not against it. In conclusion, broccoli remains a deeply nutritious vegetable, but it isn't universally beneficial. If you're already experiencing symptoms like tingling in the feet, poor circulation, or swelling, broccoli could be one of those healthy foods that's flying under the radar as a trigger. The key is to listen to your body, understand your unique health conditions, and make informed choices that reflect your needs. Good health isn't just about what you eat, it's about how your body responds to what you eat. That's why being educated about the impact of even the healthiest foods is so important. You're not being overly cautious, you're being wise. And wisdom is exactly what we need when navigating the path to better circulation, healthier nerves, and a body that feels good from the inside out. So next time you're planning a healthy meal, pause before reaching for that handful of raw broccoli. A little preparation, a little moderation, and a lot of awareness can go a long way toward supporting the vibrant, pain-free life you deserve. Number 3. Swiss chard. Swiss chard is one of those vibrant, leafy greens that catches your eye at the farmer's market or in the produce aisle. With its deep green leaves and bright red, yellow, or white stems, it just looks healthy. And it is loaded with essential nutrients like magnesium, vitamin A, vitamin K, iron, and potassium. For many people, it can be a valuable part of a well-rounded diet. But if you're someone dealing with circulation issues, nerve sensitivity, diabetes, or kidney problems, Swiss chard might be one of those healthy foods that quietly works against you. In fact, for certain individuals, eating it too often, or in the wrong way, can actually worsen symptoms like numbness, tingling, swelling, and nerve pain, especially in your feet and legs. So what exactly makes this nutrient-rich vegetable potentially harmful for some people? The answer lies in a naturally occurring compound found in Swiss chard, oxalates. These are plant-based substances that, when consumed in high amounts, can bind with minerals in your body, most notably calcium, and form calcium oxalate crystals. Now, this might not be a problem for everyone. But in sensitive individuals, these crystals can accumulate and cause trouble, particularly in areas where circulation is already compromised. Think of the tiniest blood vessels in your feet and hands. When these crystals lodge in or around these vessels, they can hinder blood flow, reduce oxygen delivery, and apply pressure to surrounding nerves. The result? Numbness, tingling, and that uncomfortable sense of heaviness or tightness in your lower limbs. Another major concern is how oxalates can affect your kidneys. These organs play a vital role in filtering waste, balancing electrolytes, and maintaining fluid levels in the body. But when they're overburdened with oxalates, they can become strained or less efficient. In some people, this leads to fluid retention, particularly in the lower extremities like your feet and ankles. As fluid builds up, it puts physical pressure on the nerves, restricting their function. This pressure can disrupt the delicate electrical signals your nerves are trying to send to your brain, signals that control sensation, temperature, and pain. That's when you might start feeling pins and needles, aching, or even burning sensations in your feet, especially after standing or walking for a while. Swiss chard also contains vitamin K, and quite a lot of it. Like we discussed with other high vitamin K greens such as spinach and broccoli, this can be a double-edged sword. While vitamin K is essential for proper blood clotting and bone health, it can also interfere with blood-thinning medications like warfarin or other anticoagulants. For people taking these medications, excess vitamin K can offset their intended effect, leading to a thickening of the blood and reduced circulation to the outer parts of the body. Poor blood flow is a major contributor to nerve damage and can intensify the very symptoms you're trying to fix, such as cold feet, discoloration in the toes, or sensitivity when walking. Let's be clear, Swiss chard isn't toxic. It's not inherently bad. But it does contain properties that require careful consideration for certain people. And the symptoms it can worsen shouldn't be ignored. If you've been dealing with puffy or tight-feeling feet, if your toes are often cold or discolored, or if you feel sharp or shooting pains when walking, your body could be struggling with circulation and nerve compression. These signs are more than just annoyances. They're red flags that something in your diet might be contributing to a deeper issue. So, who should be most cautious with Swiss chard? First, anyone living with diabetes. High blood sugar already puts you at risk for diabetic neuropathy, a condition where nerves, especially in the feet, begin to lose function due to prolonged damage. Add high oxalate foods into the mix, and you're giving your body an extra challenge it doesn't need. Second, people with kidney disease or a history of kidney stones are at risk. Their ability to process oxalates is already compromised, making the accumulation of crystals and subsequent inflammation more likely. Third, individuals with gout, a type of inflammatory arthritis caused by excess uric acid, may find that oxalate-heavy greens like Swiss chard trigger more frequent or intense flare-ups. Finally, those who take blood thinners or have a history of fluid retention or vascular issues should approach this vegetable with awareness and moderation. Now, here's the good news. You don't have to completely give up Swiss chard to protect your nerves or circulation. You just need to be smart about how you consume it. First and foremost, cook it thoroughly. Boiling or steaming Swiss chard significantly reduces its oxalate content, making it far less likely to bind with calcium and form those troublesome crystals. The cooking process also softens the vegetable's fibers, making it easier to digest and less likely to cause bloating or digestive stress, which can also impact circulation indirectly. Portion control and frequency matter, too. If you're already consuming other high oxalate greens like spinach or beet greens, you'll want to be even more cautious with Swiss chard. Don't make it a daily staple. Instead, enjoy it a couple of times per week in small amounts and rotate with lower oxalate alternatives like bok choy, collard greens, romaine lettuce, or turnip greens. These options still deliver valuable nutrients without placing as much strain on your kidneys or circulatory system. Another key strategy? Stay well hydrated. Water helps flush excess oxalates and waste through the kidneys more efficiently. It also helps maintain healthy blood viscosity and prevents the kind of stagnation in circulation that can lead to nerve discomfort. Alongside hydration, aim to balance your meals with high-fiber, low-sodium foods, which help reduce swelling and support a healthier fluid balance in the body. The bottom line is this: Swiss chard isn't a villain, but it's also not a one-size-fits-all health solution. For people with nerve pain, poor circulation, or kidney problems, too much of it can quietly and gradually worsen the very symptoms you're trying to heal. That's why awareness is everything. Nutrition is powerful, but only when it's matched to your unique health needs. By understanding how foods like Swiss chard interact with your body, you can make smarter, more personalized decisions that support, not sabotage, your healing journey. Your body speaks in signals. Tingling, numbness, swelling, or fatigue are all ways it tries to get your attention. When you listen closely and adjust your diet accordingly, you give yourself the chance to feel better, move easier, and live with greater comfort. So, next time you're at the store and tempted by those beautiful rainbow-colored chard leaves, don't avoid them completely, just remember to approach them with knowledge, moderation, and purpose. Because the goal isn't to eat perfectly, it's to eat wisely. In conclusion, spinach, broccoli, and Swiss chard may seem like ideal additions to a healthy diet, but for individuals with nerve issues, poor circulation, diabetes, or kidney problems, these vegetables can silently work against you. Their high oxalate content, vitamin K levels, and compounds like goitrogens can lead to calcium oxalate buildup, blood flow restriction, fluid retention, and nerve pressure, especially in your feet. That means more tingling, swelling, and discomfort, even when you think you're eating clean. The key isn't to avoid them forever, but to consume them cooked, in moderation, and as part of a well-balanced rotation with low-oxalate alternatives. Listening to your body and adjusting your diet accordingly can be a game-changer for your circulation, nerve health, and overall comfort. Smart eating starts with smart awareness.